Welcome to our weekly immigration podcast. We cover all things immigration in the United States. We put it out every week to keep you updated with what's going on. If you got friends or family or yourself interested in immigration, shoot this out to them. We'll keep you guys up to date. Let's go. This week, we are talking about a couple news stories. We got the H1B registration coming up. In addition, we have some H1B lottery information about last year's lotto and some insight as to what did or didn't happen. Some stuff is still in the dark. I've got an H1B Quick Tip for you. We've got a news story on Ukraine. I've got an update for you guys on the K1 visa. A little story from our office about the timing and how things are going. If you want to check that story out, look at our links below for that. We can jump ahead. And we have a couple questions from you guys to wrap it up, and a little bit of info about some of the stuff going on with our own social media so you guys can stay abreast. All right, let's kick it off. First, I want to talk about the H1B registration. H1B has opened. It is open until March 18th. And if you have an employer and you're qualified for the H1B, that means you have a bachelor's degree and your employer is going to hire you in a field or a job that normally requires a bachelor's degree, you can register for that lottery. Essentially, right now, what you want to look at is this story about multiple registrations. Now, this has been a difficult question to answer about whether you can or cannot apply more than one time for the H1B lottery. Essentially, what's been happening over the last 4 years, basically, is that individuals have been applying, about 2 or 3 years. I don't know how long the lottery's been going, about 2 or 3 years. Individuals have been applying with multiple different employers to try to increase their chance of getting an H1B lottery selection. Now, if you take a look at this news story, you'll see that technically, when a company registers for the lottery, they're checking a box that says the employee is only applying for the lottery through this company and they do not have any other job offers. So what happened over the last few years is that individuals would apply using different companies, thereby doubling their chances to be selected in the lottery or increasing their chances. At this point, it's unclear if USCIS has completely fixed this glitch or not. What we're advising clients right now is that it's at your own risk. USCIS has been known to set a very open policy and then change that policy. And the only way you know they changed it is by you getting dinged or losing an opportunity. This is one of those situations where USCIS has not said, hey, you can't do this, don't do it this way. They're simply saying, in response to this lawsuit that went on last year, they're simply saying, hey, we're going to look at it. All right, so what I'm saying to you guys out there is beware. If you want to apply for the H1B lottery and you want to take a conservative, take no risk chance, then do it one time, do it with one company. There are people out there who won't do that, and I'm going to leave that up to them. There is a risk to you. If you do try to use multiple registrations, you may end up with a difficulty with USCIS. Just keep that in mind. Okay, and we had a tweet here from Charles Cupp. Now, Charles Cupp is a prominent litigator. That means he takes cases about immigration up to the federal court system, especially when he looks at trying to deny that case or overturn a certain kind of policy or strategy that immigration has been employed. He posted this tweet just the other day, and his point is really that we don't know what's going on with USCIS, and I have to tell you that I completely agree. One of the questions we don't know is after the lottery and we have people applying, we have that second lottery, right, where they say not enough people applied, here's a new lottery, you can sort of fit into that. And after that, we have nothing. But the truth is, there are, number one, people who don't apply for whatever reason. Either they forget, they run out of time, or they lose their job. There's multiple reasons why people don't apply. But the other reason is we actually might have people who apply and don't get approved. The point we're trying to make here is with the limited number of H1Bs, with the 85,000 cap-based cases, there are 20,000 being for the master's degree, 65,000 for bachelor's degree. There are people who get denied. And those visas should be made available again. This is about a transparent government. This is about a government who says we have a limitation on something. If it's not used, they should be used again. They should carry over to the next year, or they should reopen it again, or they should even have a wait list or a list beyond for people who can immediately apply for that year's quota. I think that USCIS, with their ability to manage big data, with their ability to track through computer systems, all this stuff, it's not out of reach. It can be done, and this is something that we need to see changed. I like his tweet because he's basically saying USCIS is not giving us full access to the information that's out there and telling us what's going on. We'll follow up on that with you as we learn more, but we do think that USCIS is going to react differently this year. We'll see about second lotteries and whether they talk about cases that are available as leftover cases. I've got an H1B quick tip for you, and that is, what category do you fall in? Now, the bottom line is, people call all the time and they know that they're eligible for an H1B, but there are different H1B categories. And what you need to know is what category you fall into. The best category of all is a U.S. master's degree. If you have a U.S. master's degree, that offers you an elite category where you get to apply in the 20,000 cap for master's degree, and you get to apply in the bachelor's category as well. Okay? On top of that, there are a couple other categories. We do have the free trade agreement and the spots for Singapore and Chile, okay, 6,800. And those are set aside for 2 countries, and they actually roll into the H1B if those countries are not used. On top of that, we actually have what's called cap exempt. Now, cap exempt is H1Bs available year-round without a lottery for individuals who are working for a nonprofit institution affiliated with an institute of higher education. Okay, that's the actual language. There's memos on it, there's stuff on it. It's not as easy as it sounds, a little bit complicated. But what you want to know is, if you're working for a nonprofit hospital, it's the best example, and they have a university affiliated with them, there's a chance that you could be qualified for this cap exempt. Cap exempt works really well if you're working for a university as well. It fits right in to the cap exempt category. So check it out, figure out what category you're in, and if you're cap exempt, use it as a backup after the lottery. If you have questions, give us a call. I'll help you with that. Over the last week, we've seen some real devastating footage about what's happening in the Ukraine. Ukraine was invaded by Russia, its neighbor, in an attempt for Russia to simply take back Ukraine. There's been a lot of news about that, and the truth is, it's actually a very sad situation, especially as we see this sort of non-aggressive country being invaded for no reason at all. It's not as if there was some aggression by their half. They were not harboring terrorists who were doing things. And the simple fact is, they were just invaded by Russia. At this point, we're doing all we can to press for TPS for Ukraine. TPS is what's called temporary protected status, and there has been some discussion about this already. U.S. grants TPS to individuals from countries that are in some sort of disaster or going through some humanitarian crisis. So we've seen that for Syria, we've seen that for Honduras and Salvador, and as well as Somalia and other countries. At this point, TPS for Ukraine is on the horizon. We believe something's going to happen, and what we'll do is just keep you posted on that. I do watch the footage myself carefully, and I do follow people on TikTok. It is quite moving to see this population stand up for itself, where they really, really have not done anything wrong at all, and they're being essentially invaded by an aggressive nation who wants to just take over their geographic location. So I can't explain it. I'm by no means am I an expert in geopolitics or anything of that nature. I just read what you guys read, and I can see what's in front of me. And from what I see, this is definitely an aggressor and a victim here, with the Ukrainian people are the ones suffering. Well, we always have stuff coming through, and I wanted to update you guys on a new story. This is the K1 visa story. Essentially, K1 visas are fiancés that live overseas, and the U.S. citizen wants to bring them in as a fiancé to get the green card. Now, the K1 visa, the hard part with the K1 visa, bottom line is, how long does it take, okay? So everything goes back to prior to Trump. Before Trump, a K1 visa was done. I had the fastest one done in 3 months, but normally 4 to 6 months. I would file the paperwork, get the K1 approved. I'd get that person to an interview at the consulate, sometimes as fast as 8 or 9 months. I just had a K1 set for interview on March 29th. It's coming up really soon. And we applied for that K1 in October 2020. It was approved in late November 2021. And in fact, we had some problems. The consulate in Cairo didn't respond to us, but eventually we got our client the appointment. So what you need to know if you're thinking about a K1 visa is simply this. The K1 visa has a pretty long time period. We're talking 1 year to get an approval, and thereafter about 4 to 5 months to get an appointment. Now, what I have advised people when I talk to them about K1s, if you have the chance to just get married, the timeline for getting married and getting a green card is almost exactly the same. So that's the key here. The key is, what is it you want? What do you want to do? I mean, if you want to get somebody here quickly, there is no quickly. But if you want to get through a process and maybe save a little bit of money, I would recommend consular processing. This latest case in the K1 really tells that story because the timeline on it is a little bit long. That 1 year for an approval is a bit long, and it makes clients wait and it makes them unhappy. So that's for you guys. Put that into your consideration. If you want to consult in a K1, give a call, and I'm obviously available to chat with you. All right, in this segment, we have our questions for H1Bs. All right, so can two employers file H1B at the same time for the same applicant? All right, we discussed that in the story earlier. It's kind of a yes, but. It has been happening during this lottery period in the past. So I know it's possible. I know it can be done. The but part is, you know what, USCIS is now aware of this, and they're probably going to put a close eye on this, and it's highly likely that if you file more than one H1B registration, there's a possibility they'll kick you out and get you in trouble. As a side story, I did have a client year or two ago, and she had filed multiple H1B registrations. She got her H1B approved, but knock knock, USCIS visited her at her place of work, asked her about both the registrations, and then talked to her about whether she committed fraud or not. In the end, it looked like they were taking away her H1Bs. Her H1B that was granted. Got another question for you. I'm a first-year PhD. I did my MS in the USA. I got a job offer from a university. It's a nonprofit, and they want to do an H1B for me. Can I drop my H1B and go for the job? All right, simple answer here is yes. Now, what you want to do is do the timing of this. You want to file your H1B, make sure that's filed and properly in the process, and I would even wait for it to get approved before you drop your PhD. You need to look at maintaining lawful status, and dropping out of a course of study is almost immediate. I believe it's 7 days or 14 days you're out of status, okay? So if you're going to drop a course of study before it's completed, the penalty for that is an almost immediate out of status, and I would suggest getting your H1B approved before you do it. Just a reminder to you guys that we do all sorts of consultations all the time. All right, we help people in all 50 states. We've got offices in Chicago and California, and I commute back and forth all the time, and I'm available at both locations. You can schedule appointments over the phone with me. Our phone number is 1-800-215-0524. That's for scheduling. And of course, like I said, I've got clients I've never met all over the United States. The last thing I want to tell you guys is please be aware of WhatsApp scams. We have not been a very big, sort of player on YouTube and other places, so we've been sort of on the sidelines. We don't get this kind of stuff, but we started to see a little bit of scammy kind of commenting. We do not have you use WhatsApp. We do not ask you to contact us in any other way. You go to our link tree on TikTok, you go to our link tree on our YouTube, you can call us and make an appointment. We do not communicate with you through WhatsApp or anything else. And if someone's communicating you directly, it's highly likely it's not us. We typically wait for you to schedule an appointment with us, then we call you back or work with you directly in that way. In fact, that's required from lawyers, right? We're not supposed to contact people who have not contacted us. All right, that's it for today. If you like the content, thumbs up, subscribe, send it to your friends. We're always out there giving free information, trying to get you guys, keep you guys up to date. That's about it for today. Stay safe. Bye.